It's common to place a navigation link inside a list row so users can tap on a row and see more information. But sometimes you want more control. You want tapping to merely select an item so you can then take some kind of action later on. First, let's make a simple list that has no selection and shows several strings. Inside here, I'll make an array of users. We'll say we've got a users array, which will have Toru and Yuki and Kyo and Momiji, like that. And then in our view body, we'll have a list of those users, just showing them one at a time. So I'll say list users, ID of self, one user coming in, and then text that username, which is in the right, Toriyuki, Kyo, and Momiji. Now, making this thing work with selection takes 3 steps. Start with first making some state to store whatever row is tapped. Now, as our list is showing these strings here, this means our selection value will be an optional string because nothing is selected by default. But when it is selected, it'll contain the user's name when the row is tapped on. And so we're going to add a property inside this struct here to contain our selection. We'll say at state private var selection is an optional string. Next, we'll tell our list update that state when a row is tapped. This is a two-way binding, which means tapping a row updates the property, but also changing the property will select the row. Here's how that looks. We'll have list users, ID self, with selection bound to $selection like that. And third, we can go ahead and use a selection somehow. For example, we could show some text below a list if there's a selection. We could say if let selection, space there for neatness, text you selected, and then I'll just do selection. Let's press Command R and give it a try, see what you think. So I'll choose Yuki, there we go, you selected Yuki, or Toru, there we go. Now, if you want to upgrade this to handle multiple selection, you've got to change this selection state right here to be a set of values. And this can be empty by default, which means nothing is selected. So I'll say here, you are a set of strings, like that. This binding doesn't change. But when it comes to displaying the selection, down here, we can call formatted on our set to display all the names as a single string, but only if we actually have values inside there. So I'll say if selection is empty is false, we have actual values inside here, then you selected selection.formatted. Now, the real challenge here is how we actually enable multi-selection mode in our UI, because tapping on one row will automatically unselect the previous row. Give it a try now. I can just go ahead and choose one at a time, Yuki, Momiji, whatever, and only one's available. Now, iOS does have in place a fairly hidden gesture for activating multi-select mode. If you swipe horizontally on data with 2 fingers, it'll activate this mode. In the simulator, you've got to hold down the Option key to enable 2-finger mode, and then hold down Shift at the same time, Option and Shift, and now swipe horizontally with 2 fingers like this. Boom, we get multi-select mode. So I can choose Yuki as well, and you'll see you select Kyo and Yuki and Toru like that. So it lists them neatly. Now, both these work, but neither are terribly obvious, and therefore a better idea is to add an edit button, which automatically handles enabling or disabling editing, and therefore also enables or disables multi-select mode. So you want to put this somewhere in your layout, like a toolbar, for example, or below my text it is right now, just an edit button like that. With that in place, we'll see edit and done appear on the screen. So I can choose edit, enable Yuki and Kyo, for example, then press done, and it goes away. What you now do with your selection is up to you.